Hey everyone, it's Tom Hawk with Evenant, and today we're going to be looking at Detonator Rage from Pulsetter Sounds. Now this is one brutal sample library. This is really designed for trailer music composers. So these are some really aggressive sounds in here, okay? So it's $129.99 US dollars, and it does require the full version of Contact. Now within this you have a lot of things. So you have things like, let's have a quick look. You've got a lot of instruments here. So you've got different performance hits, which are really cool. We'll get to them later. Trailer elements. Now this is huge. You've got analog tones, bass and brass tones, guitar elements, harsh tones, lead sustain, mixed Brahms, morphed synths, odd tones, rhythmic, sirens, trailer analog plucks, trailer pads. I really like these. The trailer pianos, these are really cool as well. Then you have trailer impacts, you have distorted drums, which I didn't actually use for this demo, but there are some really cool sounds. You've got impacts, round robin impacts. Now these are really cool because this stops you getting that machine gun effect that you often get with when you're using big hits in trailer music. And that's why I really like that they've done round robin versions of these trailer hits. So each trailer hit has several round robins, which is really cool. You've got swish bangs, just the bangs, and then the swish bangs with the swish in there. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so I've written this quick cue just in the style of trailer music, a bit more on the sound design side of things. So it's not a very melodic or harmonic track. It's all based on the sound design. But yeah, I wrote this just to give you an idea of what you can get from this sample library. So I hope you enjoy it, and let's take a listen. All right, okay, so that's what we've got. Okay, so as you can hear, it's a very sort of aggressive, sound design focused trailer track. So let's go through it bit by bit. I think, I'll go through some of the main patches and then maybe what else you can get. Now, just worth mentioning, obviously, I've done a bit of very little mixing on some of these things. Like, for example, this is where I've tried to create a cymbal sound, which that's where there's quite a bit of processing. But on a lot of these things, there's not too much going on. There's things like this where I've just done a bit of pitch shifting and basic EQ, but a lot of the time I've not used a lot on some of these things, and I'll show you a bit more in depth, and I'll show you, it might look like, whoa, there's loads of plugins here, but they're all doing very, very basic things. And I like to do what Karel Sota does with his sound design stuff, is you use just, a few instances of EQ, for example, rather than just one, so you tackle individual problems with each instance. Okay, so let's start off. Let's have a listen to maybe just something like the pads. Let's check these out. So let me show you what this is like without any effects. It has a different sound, but I wanted to create this sort of sound. So let's have a listen. So as you can see, very inspiring. I did my own reverbs on top of that. I'll let you hear that now. Just gives it a bit more sense of space. Now, all these plugins are just here to change the sound a bit. Now, the biggest thing is this EQ boost, because I just really wanted to bring out some more high end, because in the overall track, in terms of the mix, I didn't have a lot of high end in this section, so that added a bit more there. Let's take a look at some of these pads, because there are some really, really awesome pads here. So there's one here called Chloroform. I'm just going to play something in. Now you can see, if you've got the mod wheel, what this actually does is it doesn't control dynamics. What it has is, if you want a different pad here, let's say, for example, deep dive, if I change the mod wheel, it's going to move this, and it's basically the mix between two different pad sounds. So this is Chloroform on the left and then deep dive on the right. So it's a different sound, but you can get a nice mix between the two if you want. Sorry, that crackling's my system just struggling a little bit. Let's have a quick look at some other pad sounds. Let's have that off. Let's turn you to like Cinepad. I like this one a lot. That's a really nice sound there. You have a lot of different things, like you've got some cool Brahms and things like this. So let's just take some of these Brahms and Morph Sirens and things like that. You've got some really cool sounds here. The crazy thing is, there's so many different sounds within each patch, so you've got such a big choice really, which is amazing. So you can see here Brahms with swells. It's, my God, it can just go on. Which is awesome. So yeah, it's pretty awesome what they've got there, and I really like some of the synths. This is just a pluck. It's a really cool sound. I haven't really done much with it, just some basic EQ and reverb. That's the main thing that you'll hear. There's some distortion. Adding that reverb on there just really makes it a nice sound. Now this is without. So yeah, you've got a really nice sound there. What you've also got, let's have a look. You've got a lot of things. So we've got the hits. Here's a good example of something. Let's have a look at this section, for example. Now what's really cool about these is you have different sounds. So I have some thicker sounds and some thinner sounds just in there. As you can see here, we've got a big cut below here because I didn't want any bass, but altogether they create a really nice sound. So this is one sound. This is another one. This is another. This is one without the bass. Now with the bass, it sounds like this. On its own, that's a really cool sound, but I just wanted that higher end from this to layer in with that, the other sounds. And then all together, they sound like this. So as you can see, they layer up really nicely. And all of these sounds are from the Impact round robins, from most of them, I believe. And they're all different sounds mapped across the keyboard, but I've just chosen a few sounds individually, as you'll see. They're different notes, and I've just, rather than having them all in one contact instance, I've had it in separate ones just so I can mix them slightly differently, like that low cut there, for example, bass boost on this one just a little bit. So yeah, just to give you a bit more control. But every sound in this demo is from this sample library, so it's really cool and versatile. And I think that's what's really, really awesome with this sample library, without trying to go too in depth with it, is that you can get some really awesome, versatile sounds that you would need for trailer music, any kind of super heavy sound design focused libraries. Some of my favorite things are these clock rhythms. They sound incredible. Let me just show you these. And all I've done is just boosted some highs and reduced the mids just to make them pop out a little bit more. And these are all different rhythms as well, mapped across the keyboard. Really cool sounds. You've got clock rhythms, fast high, percussion, gated pulses. So let's just show you this too. And then gated pulses. Some really cool sounds. And obviously you can mix some of these together. So you get some really cool options in there. So let's have a quick look at some of the other things. I really like these loops, these pulse-based loops. They are really, really awesome. The Pulses hybrid, I really, really like these. Yeah, this one. Again, that acts as a layer. Now you can see there's quite a bit of processing on this, but without, it sounds like this. Still a really awesome sound. I just added a few things like the pitch shift, just 12 semitones down with a little bit of the mix in there, so it's not really obvious. Then we just have some OTT, which is a free plugin, just for a little bit of multi-band compression, just to bring out some nice details. We have Decapitator for a little bit of grit. It's just a little bit of warmth in there with the saturation. And then we've got a multi-band compressor just to control everything a little bit. As you can see, it's just making sure that low end is controlled. And then we've got our bass just to boost that low end a little bit, just to, especially when you're listening on big speakers, just to really give you that thumping low end. And then a tiny little bits of EQ. When I was mixing, I realized there was a bit too much low end. Then we've got this here, which is, again, really, it's pretty much a zero, but it just adds this nice little layer. And then again, just some basic, really gentle EQs in the context of the whole mix where that frequency needed taking out. And then again, we've got a little bit more Decapitator, just to give it a bit more saturation. So yeah, you get some really cool sounds. I really like these hybrid pulses and the clock rhythms. I would probably say they're my favorites out of this whole thing. I can just see myself using them all the time. There's definitely a lot of strengths to this sample library. The only thing that I think would be interesting to have in this sample library would be possibly some more reverse sounds. So you'll see here, especially like risers, I didn't really have that kind of thing. So I created my own riser. I mean, this was a sound in there. That's this kind of really short sound that's quite distorted. And I just EQ'd it to get rid of all that low end. I bounced it out and time stretched it a bit. So this is it without any processing, just a little bit stretched. And this is it after I just did some EQ and reverb. So you can see it makes a bit of a difference there. So yeah, that's the only thing I would say from this sample library that it doesn't have is any kind of reverse sounds, like, you know, really in-depth reverse sounds or rises or anything like that. But it honestly isn't a huge issue. And again, with the downers, I just made some downers here that, well, they're from the sample library. I just bounced them out and I just time stretched them again because they're quite short, some of them. So I just time stretched it a bit. You can see here, we've got the downers. There's a few different things here, that different tones in the harsh tonal section, and some of them are downers, which is pretty cool. So yeah, overall, this is a very strong sample library. I'm really excited to use this a lot more in my work. There's some really aggressive sounds. I mean, we've only just scratched the surfaces of this in this short video, so you can check out obviously the official walkthroughs from Pulsetter Sounds to see a little bit more in depth with how the sample library works, because there are some really, really awesome things, like with these, the ghost piano. I have to show you this, if that's a big feature. Again, I just had some basic effects. Really, really awesome. You know, trailer piano, ghost piano. Yeah, really cool. Yeah, I love these sounds. There are some really cool sounds in here. But yeah, like I said, really handy sample library for trailer composers, especially for some aggressive, gritty sounds. And the pads and, you know, some of these pulses, the pads and the piano sounds in here could be used for more melodic sort of trailers as well, to give you some really nice textures. So yeah, overall, I really like this sample library, and I'm really grateful to have had the chance to create this track and show you what I used in this. It's been really awesome creating this. I had a lot of fun with it. And just to let you guys know as well, there is actually an educational discount for Evenant students. So to get your discount, you just have to email Pulsetter Sounds and reach out, you know, showing a screenshot of your Evenant courses, and just show them that you're enrolled in Evenant, and you can actually get a 25% discount because you're eligible as an Evenant student. The email for that is info@pulsetter.com. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. I've really enjoyed sharing this with you guys, and please tell us what you think of the library in the comments below. Don't forget that if you want to learn more about trailer music, and if you want to write in this sort of sound design style, you can check out Evenant's Trailer Music Redefined course, as well as some other Evenant courses. And there's some really cool stuff on trailer music in their blogs as well. And like I said, I really hope you enjoyed this video. Let us know in the comments what you thought of it, and I look forward to hearing from you all soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.